Our question we wanted to answer last year was how can citizens in a small, rural community work collaboratively to reduce their collective carbon footprint? Our solution proposed was to look at producing and purchasing locally rather than from larger box stores that are further away. We wanted a way to produce food in the school that could supply local businesses, so we looked at a hydroponic system. We had previously worked with hydroponics, but not on this scale. The students would be taking the leadership positions with the teachers' support to give students a chance to learn more skills necessary in day to day life. To learn more about hydroponics, we took a field trip to Swiss Leaf last year. They grow lettuce and herbs hydroponically in shipping containers. Everything is completely automated, and we learned a lot from them. We got to see lettuce in all different stages of life and learned how everything worked. We learned about lighting requirements, pH, electronegativity, and how long lettuce takes to grow, and a lot more. Once we got back, we started planning. Our idea was to use a feeding trough as our base, but then we had to figure out how to contain and water our plants. We started measuring and planning, and then quickly got to work and made a mock up. Once our model was made, we started building our frame, adding supports, and it quickly started to take shape. We made a frame with two levels and made it 2 troughs wide. But then we had to figure out how to make our plants sit in the troughs without the pots constantly touching the water. While our main goal was to make our small rural community more sustainable, we also wanted it to look nice, so we started staining. Once it was stained, we made sure everything fit right, and then added the puckboard to put the pots in. We then started cutting holes for our plants. We finally had all the pieces together as COVID-19 slowed down our project quite a bit, but it was time to put everything together. We added the lights and started filling our pots with clay balls. However, our pots were slightly too small for the holes we cut, so we cut smaller rings to make them fit right. Next, we had to plumb everything. We added two larger hoses to connect the two layers and then added smaller hoses attached to each of the pots. We finally got the pump hooked up and turned on our hydroponic system for the first time. It took a bit of messing around with the clamps as we had a few drips, but pretty soon everything was up and running. Once everything was finally figured out, we started planting. We planted cucumbers, lettuce, tomatoes, basil, peppers, and kale. They had been planted beforehand, so they were already a good size. But once we got the pH and the EC right, they started exploding. It took quite a bit of researching, experimenting, and trying, but we finally got everything balanced right, with a pH of 6.5 and an EC of around 1.4. Everything is now getting massive. We have plans to start adding support for our cucumbers as they're getting too big for our system. This project gave us a massive array of skills. We learned everything from building to balancing pH and EC. We had to figure out what plants grow best in hydroponics and what they need to grow properly. We had to figure out how to design and build a structure that could hold the amount of water, plants, and hoses needed. We learned about climate change and how we hurt the environment even in a rural area. We drive far away just to get groceries, which is adding an extra strain on our environment. Our hydroponic system is giving us a chance to help reduce our carbon footprint and protect our environment. This project was mainly completed by grade 7 and up, but the excitement and interest in this issue has spread to our younger grades. Kindergartners to grade 2 have started growing microgreens in their classroom and get to learn about the growth of plants through experience. Plus, they're tasty. It will also extend to the community as we are hoping to eventually have a student market for the community to purchase some of their produce locally. We made our first sale on Tuesday to a local diner.